Great to see you all here for this early start. For those that don't know me, Linus O'Brien is my name. I'm the Principal Supply Chain Consultant for the Industry Capability Network. The couple of things I just want to let you know of initially. Today's event will be videoed, so I'd just like to let you know of that. If you could just tend to your phones on silent. Today's event is being sponsored by Bechtel and Woodside, and CCI really appreciate their sponsorship for this event, and on behalf of CCI I welcome you to this function room. Just like you to take a moment to think and consider and acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land we're meeting on. The Whadjuk people. We wish to acknowledge and respect the Whadjuk people's continuing culture and the contribution that they make to the life of this city and the region. Safety is an important part of our lives and CCI. So if you do hear an alarm, please exit through the doors and follow the CCI staff. And we will then proceed down the stairs, and the muster area, once you come out the front of the building, will be on the left-hand side. If you do require any bathroom facilities, they're actually in the central corridor of the building. So just out the door there in the central corridor, and you'll find them. Today's breakfast is going to be about the Pluto project, and certainly it gives me great pleasure to introduce the presenters for today, Rob MacKinnon, Project Manager of Pluto Train 2, and Mellissa Case, Social Performance Manager, Bechtel, Western Australia. It's an opportunity today for WA businesses to engage with both Woodside and Bechtel and learn what they can about the proposed Pluto Train 2 project. Pluto LNG is a key element of Woodside's Burrup Hub to develop an integrated regional liquefied natural gas production centre on the Burrup Peninsula. And those that have already been involved in Pluto 1 can see, and obviously Woodside want to develop that now into the Pluto Train 2 project. It will have a capacity of around 5 million tonnes per annum. The Woodside awarded the 100% contract to Bechtel in December 2018 to undertake front-end engineering design. The contract includes an option for Woodside to progress to a lump sum engineering procurement and construction contract for the execute phase, subject to obviously a positive financial investment decision being undertaken by the project. Pluto Train 2 proposal is Woodside's preferred option for processing the Scarborough gas, and you may have already seen that in the press. The Scarborough field, including the subsidiary fields, are estimated to hold somewhere in the region of 9.2 TFCs of dry gas. Obviously a fantastic field. The Scarborough to Pluto development is expected to deliver significant long-term benefits across Australia over the life of the project, the majority of which will be realised in Western Australia. Pluto is targeting final investment decision for Pluto Train 2 next year and ready for start-up in 2024. I'd like to welcome Rob to the stage to give his presentation on the project. Please welcome.
Good morning and welcome. A bit of an early start for everybody, but I think obviously I can see it's been a great turnout. First of all, I'd like to thank CCIWA for organising this event. I think we all know how much effort these things take. So to all the staff and everybody, just thanks for all their efforts. This morning I'd like to talk about two things. So Pluto Train 2, and then secondly about our Burrup Hub growth plans. Expanding Pluto as part of an integrated LNG production centre is a key element of our Burrup Hub vision. We plan to expand Pluto by constructing a second LNG train to process unallocated resources from the Scarborough field. As mentioned already, so the feed on both Scarborough and Pluto have been progressing this year. Those are now nearing completion, and we plan to take FID in the first half of 2020. I think in the press we've always been hearing 2020, but now we're talking about the first half. Scarborough RFSU is planned for 2023, and Pluto the following year in 2024. Before I talk a little bit more detail about Pluto Train 2, I'd like to give you an overview of the Burrup Hub growth plans and how important they are to Western Australia, the nation, and the international LNG market. There is a predicted LNG supply gap in the global market in the mid-2020s. I think we've all heard this, and that's the gap we are actually trying to fill. Our plans involve more than 40 billion of capital expenditure to develop 20 to 25 TCS of gas from the Scarborough and Browse gas fields. This volume is greater than has been processed in the Northwest Shelf since it started production in 1984. So obviously, a huge volume. We plan to process these new resources through our existing facilities, which we've been operating safely and reliably for the last 30 years. To realise the Burrup Hub vision, we are progressing several activities in parallel. These include Scarborough, Pluto Train 2, Browse to Northwest Shelf, Northwest Shelf Karratha Life Extension, and the Pluto to Northwest Shelf interconnector. I think one thing that I think confuses people is they think everything's happening at exactly the same time. These are happening in parallel, but just to give an example, the Browse project RFSU is 2026, 2027. So not everything is happening at the same time, which I think is a good job for us because it would be a lot of things to actually do at the same time. So Pluto Train 2, Pluto gas was discovered in 2005. I first started working on Pluto in 2006 and saw the project through to the first year of production in 2014. So I think you can see that I've got quite a lot of background on this project. When the company approached me last year to become the project manager, I must admit I was pretty excited about being involved. This is another huge challenge ahead of us. When we built Train 1, we allowed for future expansion by pre-preparing an area for the second LNG train. This proposed expansion is intended to increase and extend the Pluto production and will also create an opportunity for low-cost development of other unallocated resources in the Carnarvon Basin. So what is Pluto Train 2? I think I mentioned before the capacity of this train is approximately 5.3 million tonnes per annum, which is about 15 to 20% bigger capacity than LNG Train 1. I think you can see from the slide that it looks bigger, and that is because it is bigger. The other part of the scope is we're going to install additional dome gas infrastructure with an increased capacity of 225 terajoules per day. The next bit I would like to talk about are really direct benefits. I think you can see that these are Scarborough and Pluto are very big projects. Over the life of the project, the development of Scarborough through Pluto is expected to deliver significant long-term benefits. At peak, on both Scarborough and Pluto, the construction workforce will be around 3,200 in 2022. The associated capital expenditure between 2019 and 2051 is approximately $15.8 billion. Australia's GDP will be boosted by $125 billion between 2019 and 2063. And I think the good news is 98% of that will be realised in Western Australia. In December 2018, it's been mentioned before that we actually awarded a FEED contract to Bechtel WA. This engineering work was required to finalise the technical definition, the cost and the schedule associated with the project. So FEED work, we've all been busy this year. Woodside, our contractors have all been very busy in completing the engineering work. We now have a price from Bechtel, and really the next part is really to go through our assurance processes before we can actually make a final investment decision. So busy couple of months ahead. The contract that we signed in 2018 with Bechtel included an option to progress to a lump sum EPC for the execute phase. And as was mentioned before, this option was subject to a final investment decision. As an operator, we spent $3.9 billion on local content and services in 2018. More than 84% of this was spent in WA. On Pluto Train 2, we are strongly committed to maximising local content and services. And I do stress where possible, because it's not always possible. We anticipate that local supply chain opportunities for construction will increase after we take a final investment decision. I would like to now hand over to Mellissa Case from Bechtel, who will talk about supplier opportunities and how they will be advertised on the ICNW gateway.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Excellent. Thank you, Rob, for that introduction. So just to give you a bit of an introduction about Bechtel, in case you don't know who we are. We've been building commercial export LNG facilities since 1969. And since then, we've built more than a third of the global capacity, including 5 of Australia's LNG facilities, one of which was Wheatstone, most recently completed with Chevron and Woodside. So we're really pleased to begin working with Woodside on the delivery of the feed for Pluto Train 2, and we also share the commitment to enhancing local WA and Australian content on the project. So in case you haven't been on the ICN gateway, which I hope all of you have, this is what it looks like. And CCIWA have been a great partner in our commitment by advertising expressions of interest to help us finalise the cost and technical definition for Pluto Train 2. So this is actually a screenshot from the other day, so these are all currently live packages up there. And to date, we've listed 69 packages, with another 15 being listed in coming days and lots more to come. So currently these include electrical, pipe supports and spool fabrication. Upcoming packages include transport and logistic elements, PPE, vehicles, all sorts of different packages. So there's a lot of things that we need to help build this project. As we work towards FID, our focus will shift to more localised materials and service packages so that we're ready to press the button on technical services and purchase orders to support the long lead items. While we're advertising for expressions of interest, we're also taking advantage of this time at the moment to work out who our best delivery partners are for the project. And these packages will not be rebid when the project moves forward. So if something that we're advertising fits what you can do now, we encourage you to express your interest. We recognise one of the major challenges for suppliers is actually being able to get some face time with companies like ourselves and Woodside and also our Tier 1 supply chain groups. So we wanted to change that, and we've partnered obviously with CCIWA and also the Karratha District Chamber of Commerce and Industry to lead a number of supplier forum networking events. We also have another event coming up in Karratha on the 12th of November, so if you have an office up there, encourage you to send representatives along. That event's a little bit different in that we're doing speed networking, so you'll have 15 minutes of time to do a pitch with our buying team, so it's actually quite a good event. And we're also sending our buyers and construction management teams to a number of events around Perth as well. So yesterday we're at the Indigenous Business Trade Fair, for example, so you should see us out and about, but the key thing is always, be keen to reach out to us and let us know what you can do. So as Rob said, Woodside now has our feed price to build Pluto Train 2, which is currently under consideration. One thing that I wanted to point out about our proposal to Woodside is it is a little bit different to what's being done in WA for quite some time, in that it is a lump sum job. So this means that every nut and bolt, right through to the amount of toilet paper we need in the accommodation village, is included in our price. So this gives Woodside a certainty of outcome on the project. And it also means that we are looking for companies who can help to deliver on our commitment to Woodside to build Pluto on time and on budget. So there's a couple of things we'll be looking for in terms of partners to help us build this project. One is that companies that support our commitment to supporting local and Indigenous businesses. The other one is that companies that work with us to identify cost and schedule savings. And that is without compromising quality, safety, the environment and community, which is really important. And also companies that demonstrate innovation that can help us problem solve, be collaborative and also responsive. So if you see a problem and have a solution, we definitely want to know about it. And that's how we build our best projects, which is in partnership with our supply chain. The main thing is that you guys are actually the subject matter experts in your business. So talk to us about how you can help us deliver the project and what your niche on the project could be. We're happy to work together with you to work out how you might fit into the project, and also let you know if there is something that you supply that we don't require. We can also let you know that as well. If you haven't had the chance to work with us yet or meet us, it's never too late. So we have quite a number of our supply chain representatives in the room today. I wonder if we can actually get our Woodside and Bechtel people just to raise their hands so you know where they are. And some up the back as well. Yep, so feel free to reach out today. And just in closing, because I know the networking is the most important piece here, you're not really here to listen to me talk all morning, but the key thing is make sure you're registered on ICNWA. Keep an eye out for any new packages. So they're released all the time, and we would suggest that you keep an eye on it at least once a week. So packages only stay up there for about 2 weeks, so keep checking back. Make sure you have your notifications on, and take the opportunity to connect with us today. Thanks for the opportunity to speak this morning, and we look forward to working with you. Oh, I did mean to say, actually, these little brochures here, they do have information in them on how you can get connected to the project as well.
Thanks, Rob and Mellissa. I can tell you that the packages are being listed regularly. One of the ones that Mellissa referred to, logistics, was in fact loaded yesterday. So those that are in that logistics field, in your email box today, you should see evidence of that package. I'll just give a few pointers as to part of the process, just to assist you in understanding how we can connect with Bechtel, not only on the packages, but as Mellissa was saying, you know, if you have anything that you think you can offer to the project, certainly, I think an easy process, if you email it through to me, I can communicate that straight to the Bechtel team, and I know that they do operate on that. And so, certainly Greg and the Perth team and Dylan Cogan of the Houston team, we're in regular contact, and that's happening. So Mellissa referred to the actual main page, the Pluto Train 2, so I'm assuming that you are all familiar with that on ICN Gateway. Now, when you go to register as a full scope supplier, you will immediately see an expression of interest document. Now that's the headline one. This has been developed with Bechtel so that it can capture some key data that they wish to actually have a look at you. Now, one of the major things, and Mellissa just referred to the innovation component, in the project references, it is captured there. Describe any innovation performed. If you've got something that you can bring to the fore, most definitely do it. Now there is one thing that I think if I can advise suppliers on, particularly when they're addressing this area of the expression of interest document, is please try and align your project references to the scope of works. Because the information is going to be in front of a contracts and procurement person that's going to be zeroing in on their particular scope of work. So obviously, if you've got alignment to that scope of work and what they're looking for, and as Mellissa was saying, can deliver some of those key elements that Bechtel are going to be looking for, there's going to be a connection. So, sadly, we've seen some scopes of work that are not even looked at. So when they come to putting project references, some suppliers have said, just look at our capability statement. I open the capability statement and it's taken me sometimes up to 4 or 5 minutes to try and identify where the particular supply element will be that's aligned to the scope of work. So you can sort of see, if it's here, if it's connected, you're going to get that better connection. So, certainly if those words can be taken on board, that will be fantastic. Now, another area, and Mellissa also touched on this, in your profile, there's a section titled Notifications. Now, when we receive the packages from Bechtel and we load them on the ICN Gateway page, we follow a similar process to what the individuals have, particularly in the industry areas. Now, it's the industry areas of the notifications area, okay? So, as you can see there, my name, and then these are my notifications. So if I load a page that identifies any of those capabilities, I will receive that email. What we've been finding of late is that some of the companies, particularly the people that are in that notification area, have failed to actually complete some of the notifications area of the profile, and they are missing out electronically. Why? Because we get the telephone calls and we have to advise them of it. So we go into their profile immediately and identify that. So that's another thing that, as a takeaway today, if you'd just like to make sure, if the notifications are coming through to you, great, that's fine, fantastic. But if they're not, please have a reference to that notifications area. Obviously, we're here to assist you connect with the project. We thank, obviously, Woodside and Bechtel in utilising the industry capability network, and we're going to be working hard to present your information in the best light to obviously both, well in this case, Bechtel initially, but on other activities that we're working with Woodside as well. The reference to the partial scope area there, if you aren't a full scope supplier, in the partial scope area now, we are asking you to identify yourself in terms of answering 3 questions. Number 1, your core competency. Number 2, look at the scope of work and identify the items that you would like to supply as part of your core competency, and then give a few examples. Now that is enabling us to actually provide your partial scope information to the appropriate tendering companies for the main package. We found during 2018 that by not having these 3 categories, that some partial scope information going through to the tenderers wasn't as easy to follow. We are now being able to present some very good information to the tenderers. So that's something to think about. That finishes the formal presentation for today. It's now open for from some Q&A, and after which there will be some networking opportunities. So if there is any questions that anyone has at the moment, I'm sure Rob, Mellissa or myself would be delighted to answer.
Sorry,
Yes.
Mellissa, you talked about networking opportunities up in Karratha. Can you just tell me what date that was again?
Is that working? Yeah. So it's actually on the 12th of November. So it's kind of speed networking.
Yeah.
And we have spaces available still, so you can just book that through the Karratha District Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, down the back.
Right, some of the products Bechtel on the job have Bechtel requirements, so we manufacture table ladder and other products. I understand that for us to qualify for the job, we have to register our product with Bechtel. I was just wondering, I understand that previously our competitors have had to go to American competitors. I'm wondering if we can do that in Australia now, how to go about it.
Sorry, can you just repeat that one? Apologies. We didn't grasp
Our company manufactures table ladder and table tray. On previous Bechtel jobs, we missed out because apparently you had to go to Houston to register the product. I'm hoping that we can now register in WA or register our product with Bechtel to qualify on the jobs.
Yeah, I would recommend catching up with Greg and Simon here today. 2 people down the front here, and they can help you out with that. Yeah, that one's probably more of a lengthy discussion. But yeah, happy to talk to you about it.
No further questions? I'm sure people want to get into the networking side of things. So,
Once,
yep.
can we get a copy of that presentation, please? The audience?
I would seek guidance from Woodside and Bechtel.
Yeah, we'll have a look at this and we'll provide it.
Thank you.
Just let me guess from that.
We just had an acknowledgement. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. So we can facilitate that in a couple of ways. Obviously, Steph, CCI events, and also we can facilitate the use of the ICN Gateway site as well. So and what we can do, and that's another thing that I think we should mention. And by registering on the project, we're able to communicate, obviously, with everyone that's registered, both as full or partial. So today's event, for example, I presented all the registrants to Steph so that she could circulate the event. I mean, obviously, you know, we can only hold 200 people here, but you know, in terms of being able to connect with both Woodside and Bechtel, it does allow, I think, a far better interaction than a far bigger event. but from what I understand, there may be more to follow. So keep an eye on things. Obviously, events like today just can't happen. You know, we do thank Woodside and Bechtel for sponsoring these sorts of events, and I give them credit because, you know, they wish to connect with the supply community, and these sorts of events, you know, enable that to occur. And certainly, you know, thank you for your time, Rob and Mellissa, coming along today. So can you please join me with in thanking Rob and Mellissa. And there's a little bit of advertising, up and coming events for CCI, but please, it's now open for networking opportunities. Woodside people, some of them have got, well, most of them have got the red tags. We've got Bechtel representatives here, so over to you. Thank you.